She was only hours away from her execution. But one request from the female inmate stopped a New York police officer in his tracks. No one expected him to say yes, and what happened next shocked everyone inside those walls. This isn't just about rules or justice, it's about humanity. Officer Marcus Thompson had worked at Riverside Correctional Facility for 8 years. At 34, he was respected by colleagues, trusted by supervisors, and known for following protocol without question. His uniform was always crisp, his reports flawless, and his interactions with inmates strictly professional. That was Marcus, steady, reliable, never one to bend rules or make waves. But on a cold February morning, everything changed. The prison buzzed with unusual tension. Executions were rare in New York, and this particular case had drawn statewide media attention. The inmate was Elena Rodriguez, a 29-year-old woman convicted of murder 3 years earlier. Her case divided the public as some believed she deserved her sentence, while others fought for clemency. Marcus had worked death row before, but something felt different this time. Officers whispered more quietly in the hallways, the warden held longer meetings behind closed doors, and the atmosphere was heavier than usual. Elena had been moved 2 days earlier to the holding cell closest to the execution chamber. Standard procedure required constant supervision, and Marcus drew the morning shift on her final day. He expected silence, maybe tears or anger, but not what he found: a young woman sitting calmly on her bed, reading a worn paperback. When she looked up at him, her dark eyes met his without fear. "Good morning, Officer Thompson," she said. Her voice was steady, almost casual. He answered briefly, reminding himself of the rules that discouraged a conversation with death row inmates. For hours, she read quietly, sometimes staring at the tiny window near the ceiling. When her lunch arrived, she thanked the guard and ate slowly, savoring each bite. It wasn't until mid-afternoon that she spoke again. "Officer Thompson, can I ask you something?" He approached cautiously. "Do you have children?" she asked. The question pierced him. Marcus did have 2 daughters, 7 and 9, but he quickly responded that he couldn't discuss personal matters. Elena gave a sad smile. "I understand. I was just wondering if you knew what it felt like to love someone more than your own life." She revealed she had a 6-year-old daughter, Sophia, living with her sister. "She doesn't understand why mommy can't come home," Elena whispered. She stepped closer to the bars, pulling a small folded paper from her jumpsuit pocket. "This is a letter I wrote to her. My sister won't give it to her. She thinks it's better if Sophia forgets me. But I can't leave this world knowing my daughter will believe her mother didn't care. My last wish isn't for Mercia, it's for my daughter to know she was loved until my last breath. Will you give this to her someday?" Marcus froze. Taking the letter would break every rule, risk his job, his pension, maybe even bring criminal charges. Yet when he looked into Elena's tearful eyes, he saw not a convicted killer but a desperate mother. His mind returned to his own daughters, to bedtime stories and goodnight kisses, and he knew what he would want if he were in Elena's place. After a long silence, his hand moved toward the bars. "I can't promise anything," he whispered, "but I'll see what I can do." He slipped the letter into his pocket, his heart pounding. Elena's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you. Thank you for seeing me as more than just an inmate." The rest of the day blurred together. Marcus felt as though everyone could see the secret hidden in his uniform. At 4:30, the witnesses arrived: lawyers, a chaplain, a doctor, and reporters. Elena declined prayers, declined speeches. When asked for last words, she simply said, "Tell my daughter I love her more than all the stars in the sky." Just before entering the chamber, she caught Marcus's eye and mouthed, "Thank you." He gave the smallest nod. At exactly 6:17 p.m., Elena Rodriguez took her final breath. That night, Marcus sat at his kitchen table, staring at the letter addressed to "My beautiful Sophia." His wife noticed his unusual silence, but he couldn't explain the weight of what he carried. Weeks passed, yet the memory of Elena's plea haunted him. The letter lay hidden in his desk, a burning reminder of a promise. He began reading about Elena's case. He learned of the years of domestic abuse she had suffered and how many believed she'd acted in self-defense. The more he uncovered, the clearer it became Elena had been more victim than monster. 2 months later, Marcus could no longer ignore the promise. He drove 3 hours to the town where Elena's sister Maria lived with Sophia. Maria, wary at first, let him in. She admitted that Sophia constantly asked about her mother. She thinks it might be her fault, Maria confessed. Marcus placed the letter on the coffee table. Elena wanted her daughter to know the truth, that she was loved. Tears filled Maria's eyes as she held the letter. When Sophia came home, her big dark eyes instantly reminded Marcus of Elena. "Are you a police officer?" she asked. He knelt and introduced himself. "Did you know my mommy?" she asked. The question nearly broke him. But he answered softly, "Yes, and she wanted me to tell you that you were the most important thing in her whole world." Sophia beamed. Maria explained about the letter, promising to give it to her when she was old enough. Sophia's smile returned. "I'm going to be a police officer when I grow up so I can help people." The words hit Marcus harder than he expected. Elena would have been proud. As Marcus left, Maria whispered, "I don't know how you got this, but thank you for caring enough to bring it here." Driving home, he felt lighter. He had broken rules, but he had honored humanity. Later, he told his wife about the mother who only wanted her daughter to know she was loved. Sarah listened quietly before saying, "Rules are important, but humanity matters more." Months turned into years. Marcus earned a promotion. He began volunteering for programs that supported children of incarcerated parents, reading to them, helping them write letters, watching their faces light up when they felt close to their moms and dads. Each time, he thought of Sophia. 3 years later, Maria called. "She's 9 now," she said. "She's asking more questions. I think it's time for the letter. Will you come when I give it to her?" Marcus agreed without hesitation. The day of that visit, he woke with nervous energy, knowing he was about to witness the moment when a little girl finally learned the truth of her mother's love, a truth carried across prison walls, against the weight of rules, and into the hands of the one person it was always meant for. That Saturday, Marcus drove back to Maria's small town. His heart pounded as he pulled into the driveway, the letter still safely in Maria's keeping. Inside, Sophia sat at the kitchen table, her legs swinging restlessly beneath the chair. She looked older now, but the resemblance to her mother was unmistakable. "Hi, Officer Thompson," she said, remembering him from before. Her eyes shone with curiosity and anticipation. Maria placed the folded letter on the table between them. "Sweetheart, this is the letter your mommy wrote for you. You're old enough now to read it with me." Sophia's hands trembled as she reached for it. She looked at Marcus. "Did my mommy really write this just for me?" He nodded. "She did. She wanted to make sure you always knew how much she loved you." Maria unfolded the paper slowly, her voice soft as she began reading. The words filled the room. Elena's love, her regrets, her memories of holding Sophia as a baby, her hope that her daughter would grow up brave, kind, and strong. She explained that she hadn't abandoned her, that every choice she made was to protect her, and that her love would never end, not even in death. Sophia's tears fell silently at first. Then she sobbed openly, clutching the letter to her chest. "She really did love me," she whispered through her tears. Marcus felt his own eyes burn as he watched the little girl absorb her mother's words, words that had waited 3 long years to find her. Maria wrapped her arms around Sophia, rocking her gently. Marcus sat quietly, giving them space, but inside he felt a deep sense of peace. The risk he had taken, the rules he had broken, all led to this moment, the bond between mother and daughter restored by a simple letter. Sophia lifted her head, her voice steady despite her tears. "I'm going to keep this forever, and one day, I'll tell everyone about my mommy so they know she wasn't just a prisoner. She was my mom." Marcus smiled, the weight he had carried for years finally lifting. Elena's last wish had been fulfilled. Her daughter knew the truth, not through second-hand stories or silence, but through her own words of love. And for Marcus, it was a reminder he would carry for the rest of his life. Rules may govern institutions, but humanity is what gives them meaning.